Hi, this is Liam from Turn Sounds. If you're going to watch the new Daryl Dixon show, please make sure you're wearing a poncho for your own protection.
Welcome to Just Keep Walking. This is a podcast focused on the Walking Dead universe. Today we're talking about Daryl Dixon, episode 2, Alouette. I think that's
Alouette.
Yeah, alright, there we go. Sounds about right. I'm your host, Ben, joined today by...
Isaac, bonjour.
And
Liam.
And thank you
As
very
usual.
much for joining us, ladies and gentlemen, whoever you are.
Mesdames and
listening to
messieurs.
this. Oh, there
Wherever
we
you
go. That's
are.
better. Yeah, in France and wherever. America. There you
Yeah.
go. Full spoilers ahead, and let's dive into it. First impressions.
Alrighty. Nope. Yep, that thing.
Or have you
Liam.
got something, Liam? What do you got?
Oh, no, I was going to start
okay.
scrubbing the show. but
Gotcha.
yep, there we go.
All right. Well, why don't you give us your overall impressions?
Look, you may live to regret that decision. First
Okay.
impressions, I wasn't too impressed. There were some
First
cool things.
unimpressions.
Hey.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, it
It's
doesn't
good. It
really
fits.
work.
Nice.
Salvageable. Wait for it.
Yeah.
Hey,
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
Yeah, look, it wasn't great. I liked the action sequences. I liked some of the zombie stuff we got. But overall, I thought, yeah, this is dragging on a little bit too long. An hour for all this. Nah.
Was it? Yeah, how long was it? A whole
An
hour.
hour, yeah.
Wow. Oh, I thought it would just be the premiere would be an hour long, but
Yeah.
that might be all 6. We'll see.
I mean, if you're going to showcase the vast French landscape of
Yeah.
France, then why not?
Yeah, that's you make
The
a
vast
compelling argument.
French landscape of France.
I don't know.
I like it. That's going to stick.
Mm.
That deserves to be a soundbite.
My first impressions of this episode, it's funny because as we were first introduced to the episode, first impressions, I was like,
Okay.
the heck is going on?
Mm.
Like, me no likey, what are they doing?
Yeah.
And I have like a decent amount of notes for this one.
Bring it.
Okay.
But I thought, if you wouldn't mind me opening with a question, Ben would
Sure,
know this if
sure.
anybody. Have we
Okay.
ever seen in Walking Dead history a flashback to the world before other than Rick right at the start?
In like Fear the Walking Dead, the first season kind of surrounds the actual outbreak. So kind of yes, but I don't know about the main show. Oh, there's
Yeah.
like the Alpha flashback and stuff. There's a few little ones. Hey?
Yeah, there's a little one. There was one with Michonne too,
Oh yeah.
very
yeah.
briefly.
Well, wasn't that a dream though?
Yeah,
Because then she pulled
Yeah,
the sword out of the
that's
knife
true.
thing.
I suppose you could still sort of count that.
Yeah,
though.
it's like half counts.
Yeah, because she was reliving a memory. The memory just became a little bit skewed.
And there's also Shane coming to school to tell Carl and Laurie that Rick's been shot.
Yes. Yep.
There's a couple
Okay.
little ones.
But then as far as like the hustling and bustling of like a busy city or anything
Mm.
like that, we've not really had that, have we?
Not to this extent, I don't
so,
think.
hey.
No.
Okay. Because I flip-flopped the whole episode going, like, the whole purpose of flashbacks is because they're supposed to teach us why something is important in the now, surely.
Yeah.
Or if, like, a certain character pops up, this is why they're relevant now because of something in the past. And the whole time I'm going, why do we need to see any of all of this?
Sure.
But then little things seeded their way forward into kind of the future. Oh.
And by the end, it all kind of made a bit more sense because it was surrounding the kid and how he was born. But yeah, it took a while to get there. Hey.
Yep.
I was
Very
going
long
to
time.
suggest that maybe it was the intense strobing in the club
Yeah,
that caused
that
the outbreak.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, look, overall, for a 6-episode show, it was a bit like, oh, okay, why are we stopping already and spending a whole episode on a little side quest sort of thing? So that kind of makes me a little bit less optimistic for the rest of the show. It kind of feels like it doesn't need to be 6 episodes or they just, are feeling it out and they've got a start and an ending in mind but don't know what to put in the middle. But yeah, we'll see. It was all right. I enjoyed it enough still. So, yeah.
I think I would have a lot more negative things to say about this if it was solely focused on, what's her name?
I don't know.
I will tell you her name. Her name is Isabel.
Oh, okay, that's easy enough.
yeah, true. On Isabel, like if that was entirely her like
Yeah.
backstory,
Right.
even like seeded a little bit into like the now. But I was just so happy that like it was still mostly focused on Daryl and the new mission of finding a horse because their donkey is no more.
Yeah. Is there a difference between a mule and a donkey?
Yes,
Ah.
a mule is the offspring of a donkey and a horse.
Oh, they referred to it as a mule, I think.
Yeah, so a mule
there
then.
you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
But mules are infertile, so they can't have like mule babies with each other, so they just
okay.
die.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Little hybrids.
Yeah.
Mm.
Interesting. All right. Well, let's just start at the start and go from there. Feel free to bring up
Alrighty.
your notes, Isaac. Thanks for always taking those.
You're welcome. Yeah,
Thanks,
strobe warning
Yeah.
is my
That's
note.
epic.
There is volume.
So,
Should I?
no, bring the volume track down on the board. There you go.
Uh-huh.
Everything from the board, USB channel down.
That's the sound effects channel, I believe. There we go.
Excellent day.
Giddy up.
Oh, magnifique. Thank you.
So yeah, I mean, I guess it's gonna be important that she's like a pickpocket as well. That might play in at some point, but
Yeah. Well, she
didn't
did. She
really-
like stole the key off the guy.
yeah, but that was like still in the flashback. I guess it hasn't been relevant in the present day yet.
Well, that was one of my notes for way further up. Like at first, like, 'cause it's kind of like a random thing. She's giving the guy a hug, and like you might say, "Oh, look, she was able to just steal his key and know where his key was." But
Yeah.
like, if we've already got seeded that she's been like stealing watches and all of that, then it's
Sure.
more believable.
Yeah, I guess so. Did you really need, like, let's just say in theory that's all the payoff you get. Did we need a whole 2 minutes dedicated to establishing that for it to just pay off in one little scene?
Nah, not in the slightest.
But this is like a mega contrast, like party life, night girl versus nun.
Yeah.
Like, what's a bigger
Sounds like a
difference?
book.
She wanted none of that party lifestyle anymore.
No.
Haha.
Although,
Yeah.
No, this guy was funny though. The first guy she danced with, then when she walks off, he's just like, "Oh, I'll just dance by myself" in the most awkward way.
hey, if you've ever been rejected in a club, you can't be like, "Oh, what the heck?" You just have to
Yeah,
dance it
that's
off.
true.
Like,
Look at
It's
this.
true. He's like,
Makes
oh,
you
well,
go,
where's she at? Well, plenty of efficiency.
it's like the silliest dance.
dangerous as well, throwing your head around.
Yeah. Oh well, there we go.
So, she stole credit cards as well.
Hey, a
Yeah.
watch seems like a hard thing to steal, though.
Oh, I've got a
Surely.
video to show you then.
Okay, yeah.
That'll be after the podcast, though.
all right.
Watching this a second go around as well, though, like all the close-up shots of the watches and her like touching wrists and stuff.
Yeah,
I thought it was all just like flirtatious behavior before, but like now with that knowledge, it's like, oh,
Yeah, you can see it now.
little thief.
there we go. Man, that's some serious strobe though.
Oh,
Yeah, the drug thing, I guess that might, like, a lot of it we can't really say too much now without seeing the rest of the series if it actually plays in or not. But it was at least cool to see a bit more of the actual outbreak. Like, that's always interesting.
I have
That's
a
true.
note on that in a second, but I did
Yeah.
write down like with her like affinity for like club music and dancing and everything.
Yeah.
I was then surprised at the previous episode when Laurent is playing the guitar and everything that she's not just
Yeah.
and belong to the
In his own.
yeah.
Do some lines.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well,
We'll fast forward a
notes.
bit.
Yeah, sure. Let's do it. What have you got as far as your notes, Isaac?
So there's a guy who comes off a motorbike. Oh, so first the
that
train.
motorbike was crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was
So
some good stunt work.
the worst place to be is in a train, I feel, during the outbreak. We've seen that during parts of the show in the actual like Walking Dead show.
Yeah.
But then just chaos inside of the carriages, I think is chilling to see. But this is all like I made like a remark, but then can you imagine if she's actually like high out of her mind and seeing all of this happen? Like,
Yeah.
whoa, what have I done?
What? Nah, that was the side tangent I was about to open up. Not worth it.
What does cocaine do to you?
No, more so about like what you do on a train, what the emergency stop thing does, if that would be a good situation. I don't know. But the motorbike thing was cool.
Yeah, have a look.
Yeah.
I don't know if it brought back any traumatic memories for Liam, but
Nah, that's pretty cool.
okay. You see a rider come off a bike and go, hey, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty cool then.
There we go.
Had to have one guy with the French hat, whatever it's called.
Oh, yeah, the little driver's cap.
Look at that.
Yeah.
French zombie.
Maybe the best, like, moving walker I've seen in a while. Like, if you look at how he's stumbling towards her, like, yeah.
It's kind of fitting, right? Given that he's just been in a wreck by the looks of it.
What a mess.
Yes, there he goes.
That
Good
was
exit.
Really. I mean,
You
there
can
might
tell
have been
he's a
bit of
professional,
CGI or
though.
something. Yeah, definitely.
Honestly, like looking at that from the second time now, that you can tell that he's a stunt guy.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
One thing to also note about this entire scene, like the whole thing is chaotic, but it doesn't commit the sin of camera shake,
Yeah,
disorientation,
Yes.
in and out of focus. Like you get one or two little like camera bumps whenever like one of the walkers is jolting. But other than that, the whole thing is beautifully smooth, easy to watch for how chaotic it is.
That guy, though, the boyfriend or whatever he was, his entrance makes you go, oh, yeah, this guy's awesome.
His punches.
Slides and knocks out a zombie, punches another one. Yeah.
Yeah, he was cool.
Yeah.
I wonder if we'll see him again.
Oh, I guess it's possible. Hey,
I
probably
feel like,
not, but
yeah, I
maybe.
have a feeling we will.
Yeah, actually, yeah, good point. All right, so what do we got after that? Present day. They're
Feeding the mule.
muley. Yeah, I mean, like there wasn't all that much that stood out to me as particularly noteworthy, I guess, in this episode. So I haven't got a lot of notes. I've got a few for later on, but yeah, there's not a whole lot, to be honest, that I've got to say off the top of my head. So I might not have much to contribute here, but feel free to just go through your notes in order if you want, Isaac.
Yeah, no problem. The next one I have is a bit further down the line. So I did actually want to ask.
Forward?
No, I'll put this question to you guys. We
Fire
didn't
away.
actually do a highlight for last week,
Oi.
and I definitely have one for this episode, and I wanted to quickly just mark mine for last episode, if that's all right. We did talk about it, so I'm sorry. I'm just gonna go ahead and take it. Old bad guy or le bad guy. With the Mike Tyson tattoo on the side of his face. Yeah, him seeing his dead brother and crying about it.
Yeah.
That was good.
And weeping over his dead brother. I thought that was very powerful. That was my pick.
Yeah.
You guys have anything?
I would say like the first few minutes of showing just the landscape and walking across France, like especially the more, close up street stuff where it all looks really legit and yeah, looks like a real apocalypse. Didn't look cheap or anything like that. So yeah, I enjoyed that.
Mine's horrible. The nun getting shot.
Yeah, that was a close second for me.
It was like the effects of it were done really well.
Yeah.
Bam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Fair enough.
Well, yeah, maybe have a think about what you might have highlighted for this week's episode.
Yeah, I mean, this little girl on the scooter, she's gonna get run over if she's keeps doing this sort of stuff. Just told to go home, and then she stays in front of a car as it's about to move. But they ended up reversing anyway. So there we go.
My fear was that they were going to cut to like a zombie version of her, and I was like, don't do that.
Yeah.
My next note moving forward is what I've labeled the Peter Pan kids.
That's what I was thinking as well.
Lost Boys type energy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that in general, just there being a group of kids?
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Less so.
Yeah.
Like, if you assume that for the past however many years the apocalypse has been going on, they've actually been looked after by this lady who's only recently in the last couple of months got sick. And like you have a handful of kids who are like maybe 15 years old, shall we say? Like the eldest ones are around probably 14, 15.
Yeah.
And so it's like you're old enough that you know better than to do stupid things, and especially if there's like a heightened sense of it's the apocalypse, we need to look after ourselves. So it not entirely ridiculous, silly, sure. And when they did their like things at the start.
I didn't like that at all.
That's what made me think Peter Pan kids.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Everything from the outfits to the wolf cry, it was ridiculous in my eyes. But to sort of counter what you were just saying, actually, I just don't see them surviving. Like, even if they were looked after by whoever it was, the mother or the
Well,
teacher.
Yeah.
Like, how did they survive in a kindergarten of all places for as long as they did with just
primary
her?
school. Primary school.
But just her though, like looking after all these kids.
It seems more like a couple of months in you come across this group of kids, but not like 12 years or however long it's been.
Yeah.
Now.
It just seemed a bit too ludicrous to me.
I mean, if you have a look at schools, even here, but like especially in like the US and in Europe and stuff like that, schools are very well fenced off.
It better be in the US.
Yeah. But like, so it makes sense that like there'd be fences, high fences around the area, only one or
Sure.
two access points.
Yeah.
They're in the French countryside. It's not like they're next to massive cities. So
Yeah.
it's like not as heavily populated. I don't know. It's a bit more believable for me.
Yeah, that's fair. Mule broke down. That's so funny. Oh, yeah. Father Daryl. Good stuff.
Nice.
This I found kind of weird too. The whole, who are you people? What do you want? Oh, we're nuns, and this is Father Daryl. They recite the prayer like, oh, cool, let me show you around.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
Just let you inside, show you everything.
Yeah.
Who's gonna know that prayer though if you're not a nun?
Yeah, but even then, if it was a nun, I'd still be like, cool, I don't know you. You're still a stranger.
I guess that then lies the naivety of children, and like they could have been killed, but
Yeah.
lucky for them, our heroes aren't bloodthirsty killers. So
They've dealt with, this is a bit of forewarning to the next bad guy in this episode, but they've already dealt with a villain, though. So they'd have some sort of understanding that there are dodgy people around.
But he
Especially
didn't claim to be a nun.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Didn't
So
recite the prayer.
yeah,
That's where it all went wrong. They asked him to do it, and he couldn't do it.
pledge allegiance to the flag.
yeah, yeah.
I've got a couple notes. It's around here somewhere. About Laurent. Oh, this is when they sit down for dinner.
Yep.
Thankfully, not imaginary dinner like in Peter Pan.
Yeah.
I like that because he hasn't really socialized with kids before. He's like super awkward and just does,
Yeah.
but like he does things that seem like they should make sense even though they don't quite. So it's like, oh yeah, you sit down next to someone and you tell them a fun fact about yourself.
Yeah.
Just sits down. Hi, I'm Laurent. I once walked backwards for 30 days or whatever he said. Like,
Yeah.
these other kids so rude. It's just like, that chair's for my brother. Get out of here. man."
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird, but I mean, it kind of worked.
I mean, I don't know how much you guys remember about like being a kid back in the day when you could just walk up to someone and say, "Hey, would you like to be my friend?" And you go, "Yeah," and then you just start playing. Totally weird, and I wish adults could just do that.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
afraid of. But then also, kids can be ruthless, exactly like that. Like,
100%.
I don't want to play with you. Get out of here. And you're just
Yeah.
like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Even hide and seek, he sucks at it. It's
Oh.
like, oh, well, how'd you find me so quickly? You picked a terrible spot.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I was reminded of the Dead City dinner scene with all of the humming and the. Were they like banging on the table as well or something? Or,
Something like that.
I'd forgotten about that.
yeah, but
Oh.
then I was very quickly reminded of, if you guys have ever seen Meet the Parents
Yeah.
with
Ben Stiller.
yeah,
and
with
Robert
his
De Niro.
whole like dinner prayer scene.
Yeah.
Has that whole day by day by day. Like, he just doesn't know at all how to pray. And then I thought there was going to be some kind of comical thing here with Daryl when he was asked. But I actually really like what we got.
Mm.
The way that he's doing it, he's clearly just trying to keep up an act or whatever.
Yeah.
But then in sneaks quite a bit of sincerity, where he's kind of just like, even if he really is talking to God or the figure of who he thinks God is, he's kind of like, yeah, life sucks and all of that. So
Yeah. That was nice.
yeah.
You knew the show or whatever they were watching on TV?
I know of it. I didn't know the
Okay.
name of it. I'm just
Okay.
gonna go turn the baby
No, go for it. That's fine. Did you know it, Liam? The show,
Did I know?
the Robin Williams thing they were watching on TV?
Yeah. Mork and Mindy.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Is it like, that seems super weird to me.
It's so you've never heard of it?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the name rings a bell, but like, I don't know. It just seemed like a weird kind of thing to watch.
Ah, super
It's,
weird
like,
thing to be
really
watching.
fast. I guess what I'm getting at more so is that like the world ended in 2010 or something in this show, and they'll always turn on like some super old TV and watch like a really old TV show. Like, why are you watching that?
I wonder if it's a case of Because obviously, well, I imagine TV stations aren't a thing. So I wonder if it's, we've only got working videos and DVDs, and this is all we have access to. I wonder if that plays a part.
Yeah, probably.
I know it's no excuse for like all everywhere in America, but as far as like European countries and like Asian countries, especially like the more rural you go, they really didn't have a lot of like American or whatever produced TV, and so whatever they had was a lot of it was like cultural exchange type things where they would get popular TV shows or movies and things like that. So so if you have like a really like, I mean, look at China not getting Star Wars until just recently. So, but like something like Robin Williams, very very popular in the US, and then it'd make sense that like a full 30 years later, that's when it shows up in and maybe it's on VHS tapes or whatever. So it's like
No, fair enough. That's not like an actual complaint from me or anything. It's just when they sat down watching it, it's like, oh, she had glass underwear or something. It's like, whoa, what the heck is this? But
so the premise is he's an alien. Robin Williams is an alien.
Okay.
That's where the Nanu thing comes in. Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough. All right. What other notes we got? Let's keep this moving.
I liked Daryl's prayer. I made a note here. How difficult is it not to slurp soup? Like that feels like a very deliberate thing to do, because you have to like get air streaming in while you're sipping, and so but
not hard.
Again, made all the kids laugh, turned something which would have been rude into something endearing. So
there you go.
Yeah. I'd like to see who directed this, actually, and see what else they've done, Walking Dead-wise, at least.
I'll have a look, and maybe Liam can do it from the control booth.
Yes, I have the power.
There we go.
So, this the part where you put two and two together with, like, is this what's gonna happen now? Like, is this just gonna copy?
Girl would be the mum of.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It seemed fairly obvious to me as soon as she was pregnant and got bitten. It was like, But
I just got to say, I am extremely disappointed in that.
What, as like
that
a copy?
Is the same.
Yeah.
Well, I would make the argument that I think they might have actually filmed this before Last of Us, at least before it came out.
All right, I'll give it some grace then.
And I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong about this, but I think the thing of the mum being bit just before she gives birth was only in the show, right?
Yeah, I don't remember it being in the games.
Yeah, so it could have just been a really weird coincidence that it was the exact same thing.
And also further still, this is, I think, only going to maybe make people go, if we find out that Laurent is immune as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
That'll be the extra cherry.
Yeah.
Do we think he is?
Yeah, I would put my money on it at this point.
I don't know.
Okay.
Hard to say. Even if that was your original goal, because Last of Us has now gotten there first, I feel like you have to rewrite it in some way. Or maybe like he's not immune, but like his blood, unlike Ellie from Last of Us, carries like antibodies or whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
So maybe that's a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see.
Just to backtrack, sorry. Were you
go.
asking who the director was for this episode?
Yes, sir.
It is Daniel Percival.
Can you see on IMDb like other stuff he's done?
I can.
No worries. Yeah, so
he doesn't seem at all shocked that she's driven away with his car. He's just kind of...
right? I thought that, yeah. He was like, well, standard Tuesday.
Yeah.
So he's known for Dirty War, The State Within, The Man in the High Castle, and The Hot Zone.
No Walking Dead, though.
Hang on.
Those all sound like Walking Dead.
Yeah,
it does. Nothing Walking Dead-wise until this.
Okay.
Until now. So
right. I think he did the first episode as well, right?
Possibly. He's credited for 2. I'm just looking up which ones.
Well,
yeah, first one as well.
2.
Yeah.
Okay.
And from what it looks like for this series, just if you're interested, it looks like they've got each director to do like 2 in a row. So it's 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Yeah.
5 and 6.
Oh, there you go. It's only 3. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There you go.
We got there.
Yeah. So I mean, hey, we'll see what happens. I think that the tagline for the show is there's still hope, or hope is not lost, something like that. So that would also tie into like it making sense that there's some sort of thing that would actually save the world. We'll see. But it also is kind of funny because I've seen lots of posters around this. Like it's been heavily advertised, a lot more than season 11 and stuff like that was of the actual show. Like I pretty much can't remember seeing any public advertisements for season 10 or 11 of the main show, or at least around here in Perth. But yeah, if you drive along down near Cottesloe, that sort of area, you see at least 3 or 4 Daryl Dixon big billboards around the place. So,
sure.
But the hope is not lost kind of also sounds a bit funny. It's like, oh, okay, if you lost hope in the main show, come back for this one.
Which is funny because I've only now started to see like Dead City things on side of buses start to pop up everywhere.
It's weird, hey.
So I'm like, you're promoting the wrong show.
Yeah. It's already finished. Yeah.
Maybe they pay for it for like a whole 2 months worth of advertising and whatever.
Something like that, yeah. I mean, I was going to say, because everyone's obviously talking about the Last of Us comparisons and saying it's the same, but I want to start a tally on this show of similarities to Mr. Bean's Holiday, because there's been a few already. Not as much in this episode as I would have hoped, but we've got obviously a guy who's not from France coming to France, having to escort a kid across the French countryside. The copying thing that was in the first episode where he's copying what he's doing. Oh yeah, there was, he goes away, right? Daryl was like, no, I'm not going to help out. And Mr. Bean does that at the same time at the start. And then a dodgy guy comes up to the kid, and then Mr. Bean comes up and says, oh, actually, no, I'll protect him from this guy. And the same happens in this show. So there's a little bit there.
I really hope that was their whole plan.
Yeah.
Like, they're not copying The Last of Us, they're copying Mr. Bean's Holiday.
Yeah, no one will think of this.
That. Yeah. Or they've said, like, all right, Daryl Dixon's going to go to France. What are we going to do? Well, we've already said he goes to France. Guys, we've got to think of something.
Yeah, any ideas?
What about Mr. Bean's Holiday? You've got it.
Yeah.
We'll just mimic that. They'll never know.
Fantastic.
But, joke's on them. Benji figured it out.
Yeah. So, hey, listeners, if you spot any other things, definitely let us know. I've got some, like, smaller ones, but they're a bit of a stretch, so I'll leave them for now. Yeah. What are your next notes, Isaac?
I really like that we didn't get any scenes with the old sick lady in bed.
Yeah.
I think her just representing their leadership in the past, the lady that helped take care of them, nurture them, all of that. Just seeing her lying, I mean, it's a sweet acting gig for that lady. She's just to lie down. But the fact that she's there, I think maybe she moves an arm or something. But I think it would have just added, it would have complicated the episode a bit more to have to hear a bit about like who she is, where she's from, what she's been doing, or.
True.
So I think I liked it. It was just, here she is, and then now she's passed away. So
yeah, very good point.
Yeah, that was good.
Cool. Note straight away on a broad question, which I don't know if we've ever talked about on this show, seeing the dead mule who's being eaten by a fox or something, maybe?
I thought it was just like a wild dog.
Yeah, bigger than a fox.
Yeah, true. Doggy.
I mean, I wouldn't go up to a wild dog while was chewing on a big...
Yeah, that was... I was thinking, this kid's going to get mauled.
Yeah. That's sad.
Yeah. Well, my broader question, which I don't know if we've talked about, is how would we feel if the animals turned in this universe as well? I know
that would be a cool variant.
Other genres have done that. Yeah. We've got like the zombie dogs and the whatever.
Are you asking how would we feel if they introduced it now, or if it would, that was just a part of the thing from the start?
Maybe from the start. I don't think we'd be happy with it at all if it was just now.
Yeah.
I'd actually be okay with it.
If it only happens in
France?
France?
Only happens in France. Well, not even necessarily only in France, but it's like a new type of variant.
Okay.
Maybe.
I'd be on board with that, because that would add another element of fear.
Something in the water.
Yeah.
What about you, Ben?
Yeah, I don't know. It's all right. I wouldn't hate it, but I'm kind of glad it's not a thing.
I'm very glad it's not a thing.
Yeah.
I know I kind of pose it like I might be up for it, but if we've had trouble animating deers in the past,
Ah,
a
good
live
point.
deer
Yeah.
just standing there, how do you think they would have trouble? What are the workarounds around actual scenes involving something that's trying to get you? That's
Yeah,
so.
Yeah.
sure.
They ain't got the budget for that.
I think maybe there must have been a conversation regarding, oh, that'd be cool. Like, your horse got bit. Now you've got like a horse that's, gone mental. So,
Yeah.
but I think it would have been way too much trouble
Mm.
Yeah, for
budget
sure.
wise.
That's just a random side thought. I do hope, like, I don't know, it could be in the Rick and Michonne show or something. It would be cool to see them, like, fight a bear. I don't know. Just because, like, I mean, there's been, like, a couple of little moments where there's been wild animals that have, they've had to... no, there hasn't been, like, a full action scene dedicated to it necessarily, but that would be kind of cool if there's, like, a big bear or something that they had to fight off against, and there's zombies around. I don't know.
Quick appreciation note as well. Liam just scrubbed past it, but the scene where it's all right. Isabella and her sister right
What
before
have you done?
they rock up to the Abbey or whatever, and it's like nighttime and in the rain, so like
Yeah.
double difficulty shot, and it just looked really good. I
Yeah.
thought it's one of those moments where you take for granted that it's in the rain and it's at nighttime, and it
Good point.
it's well lit. Yeah.
Yep.
Simple,
nice.
but I only just noticed it the second run through, so that's how organic it felt when we first watched it.
Yeah. Yeah, the castle was like a cool set piece, at least, with a moat of zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
quite
it.
enjoyed that.
Yeah. It's a fun little thing. Good spot to have an action scene. Not much else to it. I mean, Hedgehog or whatever his name is, that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of this stuff. It's like, oh yeah, there's some fun little details and there's some cool stuff, but then it comes back to feeling like most of the episode overall was a bit of a waste of time.
Yeah.
And especially with what should be a travel show, like they've got to get from point A to point B across the countryside. And yes, you've got to stop different places to, sleep or have, random side
Overcome,
missions,
yeah.
all that. But yeah, there's a point when you spend a whole hour with this whole other community that aren't going to mean anything for the rest of the show, and it's like just to find a horse, which is
Yeah.
kind of a bit of an artificial quest they have to do it. Yeah, it's a shame not to have that forward motion, that sense of actually moving somewhere.
True. I wonder if we might complain in the exact opposite way, that it was too easy for them if they just got from checkpoint to checkpoint with like only some character development,
Yeah.
moderately along the way.
Well, I guess even like, I don't know, this might not work at all, but I guess if it was like, oh, we've got to get across this bridge, but the bridge has collapsed, so now we've got to find a way around, but there's bandits in the way, like whatever, something like that. But it feels like it's all about moving forward, whereas this was kind of about that because they needed to get a horse, sort of, but like it wasn't directly related, I suppose. It wasn't like they couldn't possibly keep going without completing this thing.
Well, yeah, it's the horses needs to pull all of their supplies and also get them across there. You've also got Laurent, who meets all these children and kind of has this realization that, he's being treated different and doesn't want to be treated different. So now you've got to I imagine in this next episode, there's going to be something where he does something defiant, which gets the whole lot of them in trouble.
Actually, I will say the last thing I say on that is they got into this situation because Daryl let the mule go. It wasn't like, I get it, but also it was a little bit like, you got yourself into this, and before you even try and look for the mule, you just say, oh no, we need a horse. Like, I get if the mule was being that stubborn straight away, it's probably not going to get you very far across France, but still,
I don't know, like,
it was,
not that it was being defiant. It was like, hey, there's a herd of zombies up ahead. I
Sure.
probably shouldn't walk through here.
Yeah, which is very
That's
reasonable.
just self-preservation.
Horse will probably do that as well.
Yeah.
Although that was kind of funny with this when they were crossing the bridge and the whole cart collapsed and spilled everything. Oh, come on, guys.
Yeah. I wanted to make one quick note about the predictability, I suppose, of kind of this whole
yeah, when he
episode.
puts the gun down.
Well,
you're
yes,
saying in general.
definitely that, but then also just like Daryl locking that girl in the supply closet as well. Like, oh, just go look for something else for me, and then leaves them behind. I could, off the top of my head, like I remember seeing that in the Book of Eli movie. I remember seeing that in Gran Turismo recently. I watched that. Just like classic.
It happened in the main show as well with I think it was Enid, right?
Yeah, and Carl.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Carl locked Enid in the thing. Yeah.
Yep. My note for this American guy. Oh man, so they went way overboard with like just all the mannerisms, and like I'm sure there are people that exist like that. The whole yummy yummy ooh la la that he keeps on saying with the I don't know.
Actually, like it could have just been a sentence or two, but did they explain why he was in France? Because that could have been interesting if like he was this gung-ho American guy and he was just here on holiday because his wife wanted to come to France, and then it just so happened that week the apocalypse broke out and now he's stuck here or something like that. Could have been funny.
I don't think they did explain, did they?
No.
Mind you, you raise a good point, because that would surely happen to a lot of people, wouldn't it?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fun to
I
explore.
barely speak this language and
Yeah.
now I'm stuck here in the apocalypse.
So the thing you say as you're dangling there and you're being ripped apart in one of the worst ways possible is, I'm an American. Like, this is why you shouldn't do this to me. I'm an American.
Why didn't he? Okay, yeah, I got it now. I was like, why didn't he just like try and drop me? Oh no, yeah, he was like handcuffed by the rope.
Okay. Right.
What if that worked though? Like, European people are so repulsed by American tourists that even when they turn into zombies,
Like, oh, yeah,
they
we can't
hear
eat
those
this
words and
filth.
automatically say, "Oh no, leave this,
Filth."
screw this guy." Yeah,
Because they had that line earlier on when that lady said, you know, oh, Daryl's been here for all this time and can't speak French. And he's like, Americans.
yeah, that is how they seem to be, from our perspective at least.
From
but
our
who knows?
perspective.
You can't apply that to all of them,
Of course.
All right, what else we got? I don't have any other particular thoughts.
I'm rounding my ending one. So you've
Nice.
got Boy's brother who's there in the zombie mode.
Yeah.
Awesome image or whatever imagery of just the zombies in the moat. You know, back in the day you would have had crocodiles in the moat or something like that.
Yeah.
But now you've got this threat of zombies and stuff like that. Awesome. Cool that Daryl fell in there. I think you'd expect him to like throw the other guy in there. And he gets it.
True, yeah.
I that was a surprise for me. And then when Daryl shoots the arrow at this boy's brother instead of her, I did think it'd be funny if he then said, waste of an arrow.
Yeah. Nice callback.
Yeah. Or nice that he's changed. Look at him.
Ah.
Willing to spend arrows.
Yeah, good point.
Valuable arrows.
Yeah.
Growth.
Yep.
I guess he didn't hand make them himself this time, so he doesn't care as much.
True. Oh, did he ever with the crossbow bolts?
Yeah, I think I remember an episode where he seemed to be whittling one.
Okay.
There we go. What was Laurent doing here? Just
I don't know.
whacking
Yeah,
on-
just hitting something.
Washing line or something. Oh, there we
Again,
go.
just like no social
Yeah.
cues or...
Fair enough. Yeah. I will say that it seems like a lot of at least him as a kid and a lot of the French actors just feel very real. They don't feel like actors. So, yeah, that's working for me at least.
On paper, I just wanted to say, because like when we were first speculating about, oh, what's Daryl doing in France of all places and things like that, like maybe you're a fan of the original Walking Dead show. It's like, oh, what's Daryl doing in France? And from this episode, if I then sat you down and said, he swings across a bridge into a castle that he lays siege with a moat full of zombies, and he like tackles this American guy that's in there with, you know, like you can make anything sound silly, I get it, but like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The toothpaste thing, actually, that was a nice little detail. Little thing in the apocalypse that toothpaste is this special thing because it's got more flavor and you can put it on crackers or whatever.
Really?
Yeah. Well, that was what the guy said when he was like, "Oh, you're American too? Oh, look, I got this stash of toothpaste."
Ah. I missed
I think
that.
that's what I heard.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on that.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, a little bit of world building.
Okay.
Yeah, how does it actually end? Oh yeah, the flight. Oh, that's right. Yeah,
We've
yeah.
got Mike Tyson
That guy.
wandering through. We've then got, The Last of Us.
The birth of their own.
Yeah.
Interesting note I have, and this is my final one, is we kind of take it for granted that as soon as people turn, that their voices are straight away like. But I've often wondered, like, if you've just died and everything else works. I mean, I'll give you the eyes because something happens with the eyes. But you have to imagine someone would just be like, yeah, like. The whole thing about like dead people is that you're all decomposing and everything's rotten, so your voice, your vocal box doesn't work. But can you imagine like freshly turned walkers just being like, just like, that'd be terrifying.
Yeah.
That'd be way worse.
That exact thing actually stood out to me with that first zombie that you see in the flashback who's been crushed by the car.
Yeah.
He sounds like he's been dead for a few years. Yeah, just the sound of the voice was like really gargly, but yeah, it probably shouldn't have sounded like that. Yeah.
We did have an injury on the side of his face, so maybe...
Oh, sure. Crushed his vocal cords.
Maybe, I don't know.
Imagine what
Sort
a
of
whole,
grasping at straws here.
like an entire horde that had freshly turned sounding like that. It'd be so much louder.
Acapella group. All right. Well, yeah. I mean, like overall, I don't hate the episode. It's enjoyable enough, and it all looks great. It's
Highlight?
especially highlight.
Wasn't gonna let you guys get away with it.
Yeah.
Almost got away with it. All right, I've got one.
Okay.
Was it a Morningstar or a mace that he was using in the moat?
Morningstar.
It was a Morningstar. Cool. Yeah, it was nice to see one that didn't break this time. Swinging it around, and yeah, it looked like it was doing its job well.
Oh, and last thing on that, him shooting the oxygen tanks or whatever and then blowing up. I wish Mythbusters wasn't in the back of my mind against all of that.
Yeah.
Because they did like the whole Jaws thing with the shooting the propane tank and or maybe that was just an oxygen tank as well. But yeah, like that it doesn't work. Even if you blast a hole through it, it doesn't blow up.
Yeah.
So like,
shame.
it's just a thing.
How did he survive that though? All
That's
these
what I
zombies
thought,
behind him.
yeah.
They all get wiped out, but he's fine.
He's
Well,
all
they
good.
didn't though. So at first I was about to go, that's ridiculous because you've just shown them behind you.
Yeah.
But they didn't die. They just got knocked off their feet by the explosion.
Okay.
That's why they started all getting back up.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
enough. Yeah.
Good enough.
Yeah. Well, the highlight off the top of my head I can think of at least is just Laurent sitting down and telling that weird story. That's really weird interaction with the kid. Yeah.
Yep. My one's a weird one, and it sounds like I'm making fun. I am making fun, but it's a highlight maybe for the wrong reason.
Okay.
The BP petrol station
Yeah.
that we remarked on as it kind of happened. I don't know if we've ever seen any kind of branding that we really recognize.
Yeah. Do they have BP in America? I wonder.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, just the big green signs, like we see them all around the place here in Australia. So it's like, it's weird because it triggered something that I remembered in my brain from things I've seen. And so straight away I was like, oh, so that's like, like the real life world that I know. But then also it's supposed to be a fantasy TV show.
Yeah.
So what's going on?
I wonder if Americans get that all the time because there's all this stuff they recognize, but it just doesn't mean anything to us.
That one's
Like in the main show.
Could you do a quick Google for us? Are there
product placement, do you reckon?
Don't know. It was pretty well like in the background, only for one shot.
Yeah, it's a good
I thought it
question.
was like pretty in your face.
Right. Well, it was big and green and glowing, so
Yeah.
Would you quickly do a Google for us?
I can do a Google. What am I Googling?
Is BP in America? Was that the question?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the random side note now, since now it's a thing that spin-off characters can go to other countries, who would you want to come to Australia
Australia.
for their own
See,
spin-off
that's even
show?
more ludicrous.
Yeah.
Getting all the way here.
Yeah. Well, let's just say someone got plane working.
Yeah, I can only think of Daryl, I suppose.
Let's say from the
rugged
show
outdoors.
history, not necessarily. I don't know. Pick
Negan.
what you want. Negan. Yeah,
Negan would be
yeah.
fine. Imagine his reaction to seeing a kangaroo.
Hop hippity hop. Yeah, he's not content being king of New York. No, he wants his own country.
Can we suggest characters that have since passed on?
Yeah, sure. Whatever.
Gregory.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, good pick.
Can you like
Let him hang again.
what's like an Aussie greeting or whatever? I
G'day,
should
mate.
know this, but like a question, like
How you doing, Cobber?
yeah, someone says that to you. Oh, I don't know. Yeah,
Well, that like Aussie slang. Well, we say "How you going?"
yeah.
A lot of people, from what I've heard, are like, "What?" Like like they interpret that as I'm going by car or I'm walking.
Right.
So if you could say, "Oh, Gregory, how you going?" Like, well, I'm just walking.
Yeah.
No. I was
That's
asking
fair.
you, how are you doing today?
Right.
Well, why didn't you just say that?
I
Hang
have
him.
this whiskey.
Let him hang.
I could totally see him wearing like an Emu Export wife beater or something.
No.
Yeah.
Good old bush chick.
So what is they?
So apparently, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
BP is in the US.
Okay. There we go.
Okay then. Good on you.
Interesting.
Which makes me think he probably is product placement then.
Yeah, maybe.
Sure.
We'll go with that. They
Well-
would have to sign off on it at least, I guess.
Mm.
Whether or not they like paid for it to be featured, who knows?
Well, if it's in a little rundown, oh no, they were more sort of in Paris at that stage, weren't they? I was thinking if it was in like a country town, they could easily just do a no-name brand.
Sure, yeah. It's like
Someone's own
BP,
little-
the fuel you can trust, even in an apocalypse.
Exactly.
Something like that. Yep. Nice. All right. Any last thoughts?
Nope. All good
Beautiful.
here.
All right. Well, thank you very much for listening. Make sure you get in touch with us. You can go to Instagram, Just Keep Walking Podcast, or turnsounds@gmail.com. Let us know any other tie-ins with Mr. Bean's holiday.
Yeah.
And your thoughts on the episode overall, if you have any. If you agree, disagree, whatever you think. I've been Ben.
I'm still Isaac.
I will always be Liam.
Good stuff. And we will catch
Chills.
you next week. See you then.
Make sure you wear a poncho.
Nice.